So Says Shernoff.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of So Says Shernoff. I am Josh Shernoff, and today is a really fun one for me personally. One of my favorite teams in professional wrestling today, inarguably, you'll find out what I'm talking about there when you watch this. I have Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR from AEW, current AAA Tag Team Champions, current Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. I have them here for an interview. You don't want to miss it. It's a lot of fun. But also, I was backstage at AEW and had an opportunity to chat with a couple of members of the roster about how excited they are for Vegas, because coming up right after this airs, you are going to be able to check out AEW Double or Nothing live on Fight. Of course, that's for AEW Plus international audiences, so check to make sure it's available in your market. But hey, if you're in the US, you know where to go. Check it out. You don't want to miss AEW Double or Nothing. I am excited that I am there. So right now I'm here, and then I will be there. So of course, be following Fight's social media, and check me out over at So Says Shernoff on social media as well. I got to talk to some pretty cool and pretty tall talent when I was at AEW. So right now, we're going to go take a look at some of the people I got to chat with about AEW coming to Vegas. Hey guys, Josh Shernoff here for Fight, and I am backstage now with Scorpio Sky, and I am standing next to Frankie Kazarian, the Bunny. Hello. Thank you for Thank you for joining me here. We are getting ready to head to Las Vegas, Nevada, back to Las Vegas for Double or Nothing.
The first Double or Nothing was a huge deal for me.
How excited are you to be back for Double or Nothing in Las Vegas?
Extremely excited. Back in Las Vegas, back on the West Coast, which is the best coast.
The reason I'm most excited is because Las Vegas for me is a drive.
There you go.
That's 1 week I don't have to get on an airplane, so I'm very thankful for that.
It was honestly one of my first times ever doing commentary in my life. On pay-per-view, no less.
No pressure.
Right, no pressure at all.
What are you looking forward to doing there in Vegas?
Not gambling, no.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Might do a little bit, we'll see. I lost some money last time, but...
Hello everybody, Josh Shernoff here for Fight.tv. Oh, thank you very much for adjusting that for me. Nobody else would. I am here.
That's why you can trust me.
Thank you, and I do. If I didn't trust you, I would still say I trust you.
All right. I get to drive through the beautiful back road from where I live to Vegas.
I am here now with Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh. Do not adjust your phone or tablet or whatever you're watching this on. My God, this is a large man.
I'm just excited to go back to Las Vegas and to feel the energy from the crowd. I mean, it's a vibe.
Go through Route 66.
How excited are you to be out in Vegas for Double or Nothing?
It means I get to sin. Sin in Sin City.
And it stays there.
Have a little gin, because sometimes gin makes you sin.
That's true.
You know, I'm excited. You excited?
I'm very excited.
You know what is always a safe bet in Vegas? Scorpio Sky.
Ooh.
Putting your money on me and on AEW.
There's going to be raps, there's going to be disses, and there's going to be a hell of a lot of scissoring, baby. You want a scissor, John?
Oh my! I mean, I feel like it's rude not
Scissor
to.
me,
If we're here.
Josh!
Oh!
You enjoy wrestling. Fight TV is presenting you with this terrific opportunity. Go watch it.
I'm so excited that we get to have Lampage.
Lampage. Well, that's all right. Hey, Lampage is a new show that we're offering on YouTube.
I love Lampage.
I mean, you call yourself fans, you call yourself marks. Well, prove it. Go watch it. Sign up. Fight. Dummies.
I get to win some money. I get to take some people's money.
Oh, that was better than I thought it would be.
It was one of the worst.
It was good for me. I just can't imagine the people walking the streets of Las Vegas who are going to be passing you guys. It's going to be terrifying. So win, gin, sin. There we go.
Take some money.
I want to see that on a t-shirt.
Why?
Maybe find some honeys.
Oh, okay. We're just running.
You can roll with me, baby.
All right, that's fine. Hopefully my wife's not watching.
This time we have Rampage. In Las Vegas.
I'm big, I'm black, I'm jacked.
I'm neither of
I mean, you're
those.
kind of sweating, you all right?
It is very hot under these lights.
All right.
And that's a mic drop. I got a photo shoot. Peace.
All right, I'm not going to drop this because I only have one. So that was a lot of fun to get to talk to all of them. Now, you all might be noticing that I'm wearing a tie that I've actually worn on this show once before, which is a rare thing for me. But this tie, of course, pays homage to Bret the Hitman Hart, and there's a reason for it. Because I am about to, when we come back from this break, I am about to sit down with Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR, and you know they are huge Bret Hart fans. We talk all about that. We talk about their match, paying tribute to Bret and Owen Hart, of course, a part of the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament that AEW has been putting on, the finals of which will be at Double or Nothing. But it's a great interview. So when we come back after this break, you do not want to miss my interview with FTR. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Josh Shernoff from Fight TV, and this is my action figure by Cello Toys. Now you can recreate all your favorite Josh Shernoff moments, like that time Darby Allin wouldn't talk to me, or that time Matt Cardona wouldn't give me the information I asked for.
Right.
Tell us, why are you here?
Well, I'm not going to reveal that information to you, Josh.
With 3 points of articulation and a realistic scale when next to non-retro style figures, and an astonishingly unrealistic scale when next to your favorite Hasbros. Hey, who put that snake on me? Get the Josh Shernoff Fight exclusive action figure by Cello Toys. Available now at SoSaysShernoff.com. Welcome back to the show. My guests today are arguably one of the greatest tag teams of all time. They are, of course, one of the most decorated tag teams of all time. Former WWE Tag Team Champions, former NXT Tag Team Champions, former AEW Tag Team Champions, current AAA Tag Team Champions, and current Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Please welcome Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, FTR.
Dude, I think I would restart this whole interview and say inarguably the greatest tag team in the world.
Inarguably. Okay, that's fair. That's, you know what? There are a lot of people who would agree with you on that, and I think I might be one of them. I want to. You're one of them as well. Excellent.
I'm in the group.
I wanted to jump right in. Of course, we are here to promote Double or Nothing. But what I really wanted to talk to you guys about was, unfortunately, the way that it worked out, neither of you are going to be in the finals for the Owen Hart Foundation Memorial Tournament. However, when you look at that tournament as a whole, I feel like no matter who wins, people are mostly going to be talking about that match the two of you had in Philadelphia. And I was fortunate enough to actually be there in the arena. Dax, I think I actually spoke to you backstage afterwards and just, congratulated you, thanked you for that. Love the shirt there. I tried to wear a Bret Hart inspired tie for you guys just so I could fit in. No, the match was incredible. If you can take us back a little bit between the both of you, whoever wants to start first, and just how did this come to be, the idea of, because it's one thing to see the two of you wrestle each other, and people were excited about that, of course, but so many aspects of that match paid homage to both Bret and Owen, and matches that Bret and Owen had, just little bits here, little bits there, and to somebody who maybe wasn't familiar with those other matches, we were just watching an incredible pro wrestling match. But to those who, like myself, who is an enormous Bret Hart and Owen Hart fan, oh man, I was just sitting back with a smile on my face, just enjoying every minute of that. So how did you guys decide, like, hey, this is what we need to do here. We're going to compete, obviously, against each other. May the best man win. But we're going to make sure that this is like a love letter to the Hart family.
So when the Owen Hart tournament was announced, immediately, that's the first thought that went through both of our minds was, okay, this is the one opportunity we're going to have a match with each other. And there's no rematch. There's going to be no other match between the two of us that I can at least see in the foreseeable future. So we had begged Tony, and we pitched this whole idea about us being in the tournament. We obviously winning it would have been a huge deal for both of us. But more importantly, it was about paying tribute to the life and the memory and the career of Owen. And that's what we wanted to do from the match, but also from the backstory that we had as well. From all the stories I've heard, I wish I could have met him. He was a huge family man, and he loved his wife and he loved his kids. And obviously, I'll tell you in a heartbeat how much I love my wife and my kids. And he's inspired both of us as far as in ring. So it was more important to us to at least represent ourselves in the Owen Hart tournament, and however Tony would allow us. As far as paying homage to some of the Brett and Owen matches, I've heard a lot about that. We both have. We've heard a lot about that, and we've seen a lot of the clips, the side-by-side clips. But I think that's an unfair comparison. Obviously, the victory roll, then that was a huge homage because people thought that was going to be the finish of the match.
Right.
Other than that, man, there were no conscious efforts in saying, "Oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do this part in the Brett Owen match or whatever." That's
Like missing a diving headbutt. Like,
I missed a diving headbutt. I've gone for a diving headbutt in tons of matches. The chest first.
I don't want to interrupt, but yeah, the sternum first turnbuckle. Him and Gable have had a competition since 2015 on who takes them better. So that's just something that's in his arsenal.
And
to try to compare, it's to try and compete with the Harts and taking it. No one is ever going to take that as hard as Brett or Owen Hart. But
right. So Brett's just who I've studied, more than anyone else in my entire life, not just my career. And so there are going to be some things. I mean, if you look at all my matches, you could take all my matches. Because honestly, when I saw the comparison piece, I took our match and I just picked a random Bret Hart match. I watched Bret Hart versus a $1 Million Man from MSG. And I said they could take that match and also do a comparison piece too, only because I'm so inspired by Bret and Owen. That's it.
That's really interesting.
There was no conscious effort to say, oh, let's do this from Brett versus Razor, or this from Brett versus Benoit, or this from Brett versus Owen, or this from Brett versus Perfect. Plus, when you reach for 4 different matches, man, you are kind of reaching there. So we just wanted to have a kick-ass match that Brett and Owen would both be proud of.
Yeah, the idea kind of came about, I think, the day Dax and I met. Like, we formed that bond, we became friends, and it was over the Hearts. And as we went on, we just realized how much they influenced us and how much we respected that entire family. And for Martha and everybody to come along and for this tournament to happen the way it did, there's no other way that we could have had the match we wanted to have without it being for the Owen tournament. And that's why it's never happened before. And when it was announced, I said, okay, now this is our chance for me to wrestle my brother. Because that's what Dax says. He's a brother to me. He's my brother. And he has been since the day we met. And so this was our way of getting to pay respects. And we didn't have to compromise what FTR is as a team because I don't want to have animosity towards him. I just want to have a straight-up wrestling match that pays respect. And so, like I said, the idea came about a long time ago, and this was the only way it made sense.
But it's fascinating, the thought process behind you've studied both Bret Hart and Owen Hart for so many years that your offense and your defense are pretty much Bret Hart and Owen Hart. That's the well that you're pulling from. So yeah, that does result in people watching your match and going, hey, that looks just like this Bret Hart Owen Hart match. That's fascinating. It was an incredible match. Of course, also all the way down to the gear that you guys were wearing, the tribute gear, which I thought was just next level, honoring them. It was just so cool. And it was it really, I think it really showed, and that's not to take away from anybody else in the tournament, but there was no question who in this tournament grew up Bret Hart and Owen Hart fans watching that match. And so hats off to both of you. It was awesome. It was great, like I said, to be able to watch that live. It's not lost on me as we record this right now. It is the 23rd anniversary of his tragic passing. I got to meet Owen Hart one time. It was January 25th, 1998. I can remember the date because it was so impactful, and I will never forget him. It was backstage after a house show in Philadelphia, and I will never forget the amount of time he hung out. He was on his way out. I was back there with Bill Apter, who said, "Hey, Owen, can you meet a friend of mine?" And he could have easily just, "Hey, nice to meet you." He spent time. I'm this young kid. He's talking to my dad about things weren't even wrestling related. My dad wasn't even a wrestling fan. They're just having a random conversation. And he was just, I walked away from that going, what an awesome, awesome guy that I already had been a huge fan of. So I consider myself really lucky that I had that opportunity to meet him when I did. But one other question about that match, and then we'll move on. But I wanted to know now, it's one thing for all of these years, many people have paid tribute to Owen Hart and certain moves and certain things that they do. But this is one of the first times ever that for a fact that his wife and his children are watching this. And was there an extra pressure on you knowing that they're going to be watching this, that this isn't just a, hey, maybe they'll hear through the grapevine? Obviously their eyes are glued to these matches. So was there an extra pressure in that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would say yes and no. Like leading up to it completely. Once I'm out there, it's a different thought process for me. Like my brain works differently, but leading up to it, just in general, knowing like what I wanted to do with this match, and like me and Dax both, we put so much stress on ourselves to deliver every single time because we take pride in this. And this was something we took the utmost pride in because it's our only chance to do this. So, like leading up to it was very stressful. But once we were out there, nothing like that crosses my mind. It's just in the zone.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd already put enough pressure on myself.
Yeah.
That I don't know if anything could have measured up to it. But once I got done, and then I realized, okay, Martha was there, her kids were there. That was the first professional wrestling match they had seen since Owen's passing. That's when the emotions started, rushing over me. And then, also getting a text from Brett and him telling me how much that match meant to him and how much he enjoyed it. That's when emotions went over me too. But going into the match, we both knew exactly what we wanted to tell. We knew where we wanted to go. The pressure came from hoping we could deliver on what the fans had in mind, because now the fans, when they equate a great wrestling match, they equate it to 5 stars, and that's not always the case, man. That's all subjective, the 5 stars thing.
Sure.
But when they think about it, they think of a million kickouts and they think of big, huge bombs being thrown. But that's not my wrestling. That's not the wrestling that I like. The wrestling that I like and the wrestling that I love and that I grew up loving and that I love right now at almost 38 years old is the wrestling that it connects with you emotionally. And that's what we wanted to do, because you've been in an argument with your brother or sister. Everyone has, and like the little accidental thumb to the eye. You've been in a basketball game, or you've played slap fight with your brother or best friend before, and you accidentally got a little too rough, and then it turned into a fight. Everybody can relate to that. They can't relate to a 450 because they've never done it before, or they've never felt it before.
Mm-hmm.
But they felt frustration, and they felt anger, and they felt disappointment. And so when you can give them that, man, that's 5 stars to me, And so I think that's the pressure that I put on myself. And I'm sure Cash did as well, because we both take so much pride in wrestling. But I knew that the fans probably had an idea of how this match could have gone, and we could have done that. We could have had a million moves and thrown a million bombs, but it was way more important to us to keep the sanctity of what FTR is, who we are as individuals, but also as a collective unit, and also tell a beautiful story that the fans will remember. And now I hope, and my hope is that this is the match throughout the whole tournament, all the way to the finals. This is the match they remember, and they talk about in conjunction with the Owen Hart tournament. And you talked about meeting Owen. I told my wife today, I said, when we talked about it today was the anniversary of his passing. I told her my wrestling career has never meant more to me than it does right now, because I got to text Brett and say, I'm thinking about you and the whole family today. Not very many people are strong enough to endure the things that you've been through, but you are. Through all that, you continue to be a role model and hero to all of us. I hope to be as strong as you. You're my hero. See you soon.
Wow.
And I got to text him that on the anniversary of his brother's passing. I don't know if my wrestling career will ever be as rewarding as that thinking of a fat 10-year-old kid from Whiteville, North Carolina.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know how to jump into something else of that. That was moving.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's talk about you guys as a tag team. Okay. Seriously, I'm trying to figure out how to move on from something like that. That's
He's got to
great
jump
though.
into it now so we can
Yep.
feet first into the cold water.
Yep. All right. So you guys, and I don't mean this in any way to I'm not poking fun or anything. You guys are obviously not on the card on Double or Nothing. Yet you are AAA Tag Team Champions, Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, and inarguably, I think we can all agree on this call here, the best tag team in wrestling today.
Inarguably.
So obviously there's a triple threat tag team match. I'm sure your eyes are going to be on that. But my question is, a lot of people are noticing now, you guys wrestling as singles more recently. You always hear about these tag teams who say, no, we're a tag team. We're not splitting up doing the singles thing. We're a tag team. Are you guys just, hey, we will just forever be a tag team? Or are you looking at this saying, hey, okay, we're champions here, but in AEW, maybe it's time for us to start looking over at that belt, looking over that championship over there and see what we can do as individuals because we know that team is always going to be there. Has there been any thought about that?
I think that we've been a team for a better part of 10 years, and we probably don't have too many more years to go. So why would we, think about anything like that? The only possible way I would ever do anything by myself without cash is if, God forbid, something happened to him and he got injured and I had to pay the bills. That's the only thing. Consciously, I would never care to do anything on my own for an extended period of time. We are writing a legacy, and I feel like for about 3 years there, we were missing out on a legacy, and we got some making up to do. And I feel what the end of 2021 and so far 2022 has done is if we've been able to make up for that. So in my mind, why would we divert away from the tag team that's gonna write history in the wrestling history books when we've only got a short period of time to go?
Yeah, like if we were going to do this, I mean, there was a time when tag team wrestling wasn't going great, and we could have said maybe it's not worth fighting to be a tag team anymore. Maybe we could try singles and see what happens. But we decided, and it wasn't even like really a decision for me. Like there was no other option, but we wanted to be a tag team, and we said we'll go wherever we can to make tag team wrestling what we see it as. And so, like instead of trying to wave the white flag and just throwing in the towel and trying what we could do as singles guys, we kept pushing through as a team, and I think we've broken to a level that we never could have envisioned. And like you said, we're closer to the finish line now. Like there's a lot less years in front of us than there is behind us at this point. So we're writing history. We're so close to doing things that no other team has ever done. We already are doing things that no other team's ever done, and we're adding to that. We're becoming untouchable.
Just pointing to those championships right there. Yeah.
Why divert away from that with little side things here and there? If the story calls for it, if there's something like you said, if I have to go down for a little bit, if there's an injury to either one of us and we have to do something, maybe. But right now, I just want to do as much as I can to add to this legacy, like 7-star, 8-star, 9-star. Like if we can get to double digit, like who can touch us?
Well, it's really interesting to hear you guys say that too, because there's, I personally, we already talked about being a fan of Bret Hart. I was a diehard Bret Hart fan back when he was in the Hart Foundation. No idea where his career was going to go, but to me, the Hart Foundation, I mean, I look back, Hart Foundation, Demolition, those times, I loved tag team wrestling. Absolutely loved it. when I would wrestle with my friends in our basement, me and my best friend, we were a tag team. It wasn't about being, the world champion. It was about, hey, let's team together. So I totally understand that from a fan standpoint. And I think it's great you mentioned the white flag, but you guys have really been flag bearers for the art of tag team wrestling. And you mentioned that there's a time when tag team wrestling really wasn't much of anything, especially in other companies. Sometimes tag team wrestling doesn't get the attention that it does elsewhere. So I think that's really interesting to hear you guys say that. I'm sure a lot of people watching this are going to be really happy to hear you guys say that, because you really have kind of set that bar of reminding people in a way of, hey, tag team wrestling is not, four guys in the ring. Tag team wrestling is an art form. Tag team wrestling is its own brand of professional wrestling. So I think that's really interesting, and that's exciting to hear. People are not going to like the idea that you guys kept alluding to not having that many years left. I think people are not going to be thrilled about that. So hopefully it's more years than that sounds like. But I do want to talk to you guys also about Double or Nothing as a whole, and the fact that you're going to be in Vegas. Now, you guys have a match, as I believe this will be airing on a Wednesday, so probably coming up right after this, you guys have a tag team match. Can you tell us a little bit about, the excitement of being in Vegas? I mean, it's just a fun city. Are you guys excited to be able to be there and have AEW be there for 3 nights? This is the first time AEW has been there for 3 live shows. And tell us a little bit about that tag match that you're excited about as well.
Yeah, of course, being back in Las Vegas is going to be awesome. But being back in front of crowds has been awesome. It's been a year now, but I'll never take that for granted, ever again. And I think that's kind of the catalyst of why the fans have accepted us and made us these fun loving guys now for some reason.
Fun guys.
Yeah, so being in front of the Vegas crowd is going to be awesome, and I know that that experience is going to be one I won't forget because they're ready for wrestling. We're going to be facing Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, and we won those tag team championships in arguably the best tag team match of all time, definitely the best tag team match of our career. And I'm very proud to be the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. And to be able to go into Vegas and defend those championships in front of that crowd over that weekend means a lot to me. And I'm hoping, as I'm sure Cash is, I'm hoping that after we do successfully defend the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, our focus can go towards the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And, maybe that's where the business will take us because we are the number 1 ranked tag team, and it's a shame that we're not on the card just yet. But right now our focus is Wednesday night against Roppongi Vice, competing and having the greatest tag team match that we possibly can, but making sure ultimately that we stay Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions.
Cash,
Yeah. Roppongi Vice, a few years ago when they were at their peak in New Japan, they were one of the top teams in the world. And they were a team that we never had a chance to cross paths with. We were in NXT at the time. They were doing their thing, but they were a team that we had talked about. Like, man, what if? And there's been like this list this year where Dax and I have been trying to check off those what ifs, like all those matches that we wanted to do and we never were able to. Now we're trying to make up for lost time, and this is one of those what if matches for us. And like you said, we won those from the Briscoes and one of the hardest hitting matches of all time as well. I'll say, like, as far as tag team matches, I think we set the bar with physicality, and that's what I want to do with Roppongi Vice. I don't want them to come in here thinking this, like Dax has alluded to, like this is a joke. I don't want this to be anything. I want this to be a fight. I want this to be something where you're not going to get a bunch of fireworks, but you're going to get some substance. You're going to get some story. You're going to see 4 guys in there beating the shit out of each other. And that's something I think Vegas is always ready for. Like, I think Vegas is always ready to see guys
Fight town.
So, exactly. Yep. So if that's what you want, Vegas, get ready for Wednesday.
My last question for both of you, and I thank you again for taking the time here. you talked about this, this kind of bucket list of what you're trying to accomplish, who you're trying to face. Is there anybody that is at the top of your list, any tag team out there right now that you wish you could get in the ring with? And my other part of that question, is there a tag team in history that unfortunately isn't going to happen, but a tag team you absolutely wish you could step in the ring with? Start with you, Dax.
I think a couple of the tag teams that we would like to have a match with now to test ourselves, and also so we could put ourselves on the greatest tag team list of all time. We've got the American Wolves coming up on June 11th in Beckley, West Virginia, which is going to be awesome for us. They're considered one of the greatest tag teams of a generation, maybe of all time. Motor City Machine Guns, that's another team we would like to face. The North, if things ever work out where Josh Alexander and Ethan Page can get back together, we'd like to test ourselves against them. Ming and Barbarian, bring them on. I see every once in a while. We got to work with Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson and gave them their last great professional wrestling match, and it seemed like 1986 all over again, which I'm very, very proud of. So that's a short, quick list, of tag teams we want to work with. But ultimately, we want to be the top of AEW tag team division because that is the tag team division. And then once that we check off all those wrestlers and all those tag teams, we can be the tag team that says, oh, you know what, and I'll add the Hardy Boys to that too. We want to face them and give them their best match that they've ever had. But once we check off those names and those tag teams, we'll be the only tag team of our generation to work with a caliber of tag team like the Usos, the New Day, DIY, American Alpha, the Young Bucks, Santana and Ortiz, SCU, all the way to the Briscoes, Hardys, Rock and Roll Express, all these people. So we're very proud of that. As far as tag teams of all time, a lot of people ask, they assume we're going to say Tully and Arn or Midnight Express, but I think we're too similar, and I don't know if the matches would be, I'm sure the matches would be great, but I don't know if they'd be what the fans would expect. Brett and Jim obviously would be at the top of my list. Sean, Barf, and Marty, I think we could kick ass with them, and probably the Bulldogs.
Wow. Okay.
And my number one tag team, I can't believe I forgot it, is Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood. My number one tag team.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll second the Motor City Machine Guns. They're very high on my list. If we can ever knock on some doors and maybe make that happen. The North, another one I'll second. There was somebody else I was going to say. Oh, I don't know if, when, where, whatever. The Good Brothers are a team that we've had a match with in Japan, and we absolutely tore it down. And it was something that I'd love to run back sometime soon. Now that everybody's in different headspace, different territory, different everything, I want to run that back. And I'll speak it into existence sometime, somewhere. Edge and Christian. So I'll make that one happen.
That's awesome. And is that your tag team, I guess, from the past that you know what? But hey, that
we could go
happen.
all day. The Fantastics, Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express, which we got to do.
It's incredible.
The Rockers. Yeah, there's so many that we didn't ever have a chance to. Gino and Tully's a team that, for their short little run we've talked about, just so many teams from the past that I wish that I had a DeLorean to go back with. Wow.
Well, thank you both so much. This has been an absolute pleasure for me as a huge fan of both of yours in tag team wrestling in general. The event, of course, is AEW Double or Nothing, which comes to you live right here on Fight. Dax, Cash, thank you both so much for being here on So Says Shernoff. We will be right back. that's our show. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to the AEW roster and, of course, to FTR for taking the time to speak with me. Man, check out Double or Nothing. You're not going to want to miss it. I had so much fun with our guests today, and I hope that you did as well. But I'm also having fun over on a little show called Talking with Friends right here on Fight. So make sure that you check out Talking with Friends. Of course, you also want to check out all things So Says Shernoff. So go to SoSaysShernoff.com. It's got links to my merch. Sarcasm is my superpower. There's a t-shirt for that and a hoodie. We also have, of course, the link to my action figure. If you haven't yet, make sure that you pick up one of my action figures. I'm very proud of it. It looks just like me, but with larger arms and a fuller beard. But go now if you haven't yet. So go to SoSaysShernoff.com. Of course, also follow me on social media at SoSaysShernoff and at Shernoff Show. And make sure that you go to TheWrestlingShowcase.com. You saw their commercial a little bit earlier. TheWrestlingShowcase.com. The Wrestling Showcase, of course, is September 3rd, live on Fight, and it comes to you from the Hyatt Regency in Schaumburg, Illinois. You do not want to miss this show. Trust me, this is going to be a show that people are going to be talking about for a very, very, very long time. The show is stacked. The tournament is looking incredible. Of course, incredible women's matches being showcased as well. So go right now, either pre-order or get your tickets. Go to TheWrestlingShowcase.com. Well, that's it for me. I think I gave a hard sell on everything. Thank you so much for joining me this month on So Says Shernoff. This has been So Says Shernoff because all of that is what Shernoff had to say. I'll see you next time.